dear friends, old and new, and welcome to another tutorial here at MK Fingerstyle Academy. My name is Mustafa, and if you're new to this channel is all about fingerstyle content, whether it's tap arrangements or educational content such as this one. I'm very excited about today's tutorial because we're going to cover an intro riff that I love and hold dearly to my heart, which is Aerosmith's Dream On, which I first heard on Eminem's Sing for the Moment, which led me to discover Aerosmith to begin with when I was 13 years old. I love this riff because it covers an idiomatic technique on fretboard instruments, which is how to carry a melodic line on string 1, supported by a harmonizing note on string 2, which is usually parallel thirds, but in this case we don't have parallel third intervals, we have different intervals. Nevertheless, it is a consistent harmonizing line, interrupted by a drone in the bass that we get to play with our thumb. With that in mind, let's get started. Alright, so this riff starts with a minor third interval with our second finger on the 4th fret on string 1, and our 4th finger on fret 6 on the 2nd string. And you're going to use your middle and index to play those two strings. And then you're going to use your 3rd finger to play the bass note, which is an F, 5th fret on the 3rd string, and you're going to use your thumb to play it because it's the bass note. And you're going to do that twice. Now you're going to use your 3rd finger as a pivot while you shift your 2nd finger up a string to the 4th fret, let go of your 4th finger, and your 1st finger is going to hit the 3rd fret on string 1. Now you're going to keep the 5th fret with your 3rd finger, again, as a pivot, and you're going to switch strings with fingers 1 and 2. So instead of having fingers 1 and 2 on strings 1 and 2, you're going to have fingers 1 and 2 on strings 2 and 1. Basically, you're just swapping the fingers. Now you're going to have to let go of your pivot finger, and you're going to slide these two fingers, or this shape, down a fret to hit the 3 and 2. And only then do you worry about hitting the 5th fret. So I don't want you to make the transition and hit the 5th fret before you play the 3 and 2, because that would be bad technique. In fingerstyle, we only play what we need, and we position our fingers on the frets as we need them, which is different from strumming, where you place the whole chord, strum, switch to the whole chord, strum, and so on. So we're going to go from the 4 and 3 shape down to the 3 and 2 shape, position your 4th finger on the 5th fret. Now your 2nd finger is going to move to the 4th fret, and your 4th finger will drop down a string to go back to that 4-6 shape. Now you have to make a jump for it since we don't have any pivot fingers, and you're going to go with your 4th finger down a string to the 6th fret, and your 3rd finger will go down to the 6th fret on string 2, and you're going to use your 1st finger to play the 5th fret on string 3. Now you're going to keep your 1st finger as a pivot, and you're going to slide your 4th finger to the 8th fret, while your 2nd finger now has space to press down the 6th fret. This might seem confusing, but once you try it, you'll realize that the fingers fall on the frets really easily because they are written by a guitar player, so they are idiomatic on the fretboard. So the first 4 bars. Notice how it is crucial to keep hitting that 5th fret on time to create that recurring drone, because as the melody and intervals change, they are either consonant with the 5th fret or dissonant against the 5th fret, and that's what makes it so interesting. Now, when you go to the second set of 4 bars, it is mostly the same. Now you're going to have to bring back your 4th finger down to the 6th fret and use your 3rd finger on the 6th fret on 2nd string again. We've seen the shape. Now you're going to use your 1st finger on the 4th fret to hit that 4th fret. So So that's coming from the 8 and 6 to 6 and 6 to 4 and 6. Now we're going to use our first finger as the pivot, and we're going to move it to the 8th fret. Second finger will fall down on the 9th fret. And here comes the only change to our 5th fret drone. Since it is really hard to play the 5th fret here, it's a big stretch. It's doable, but it's a big stretch. We're going to replace the 5th fret F with the 10th fret F on the 4th string. If you are playing on a high G, you cannot do that because your 4th string is an octave up. So you will have to use the 5th fret and practice that big stretch to get that lower octave F. So keep that in mind. If you're playing baritone, you would look exactly the same as me on the low G. So we go from the 6 and 6 shape with our first finger originally on the 4th fret, and we're going to slide it to the 8 and 9. Third finger hits the 10th fret, and then we're going to slide back to the 6th fret shape. This will be challenging for you if you're not used to hitting that 6-6 shape. So maybe this is a good chance to use this as an exercise to practice going from the 8 and 9 to the 6 and 6 shape. Wow, the sun is really shining. Hopefully that helps with the godlike image. Anyways, that finishes the common theme of playing a melodic line on string 1 with the harmonizing a line on string 2 with the bass. And now we're going to start a really cool scale lick. So you finished with 4, 6, and 5 shape with your second finger on the 5th fret. You're going to slide that second finger to the 6 and 5. And notice how I am using my middle and index to play those two frets. In other words, I'm not repeating my right hand finger, I'm alternating my right hand fingers. Now it gets very complicated. This is really meant for intermediate to advanced players, so I'm going to go as slow as I can, but it will still seem like fast for you if you're a beginner. Let's give it a shot. You're going to play the 6th fret with your second finger, 5th fret with your first, slide down to the 3rd. If you play the 5th fret loud enough, when you slide down, you will hear the slide to the 3rd fret. Now, once you hit that 3rd fret, you're going to use your 2nd or your 3rd, whichever you're comfortable with, to hit the 5th fret and slide up to the 6th. Then you're going to have to squish your first finger to go to the 5th fret, then play the 6th fret, slide to the 8, play the 6th fret, play the 8th fret, slide to the 9th, play the 8th fret, play the 9th, and slide to the 11th. And that finishes that part. So the trick here is that you have to pick 2 notes, slide up 1. So pick, pick, slide, pick, pick, slide, pick, pick, slide. It's very important to know when to pick and when not to pick. Once you're able to do each group on its own, you start then chaining them together. After that, you're going to start the hammer-on, pull-off, slide-down sequence. So you start with the 9th fret, hammer on the 11th fret, and pull off to the 9th fret. And now, before you pick anything, you would slide down to the next note. In this case, 8th fret. That's group 1. Group 2 is you would play the 8th fret, hammer on, pull off 9th fret, slide down to 6. Then you would play the 6th fret, hammer on, pull off on the 8th fret, slide down to 4. Then the 4th fret to the 6th fret, to the 2nd fret, and then you would slide all the way up to the 13th. And then you would pick the 13th fret. So that becomes Make sure when you practice this that you divide it into groups. First one, 9 to 11, 8 to 9, 6 to 8, 4 to 6, pick 1, slide all the way to 13. And when you chain the whole thing together, and when you play it at tempo, and then he starts singing. I hope you've learned something from this tutorial, and if not, at least enjoyed the process on how to play a riff like that. But now I am curious, what riff would you like me to teach on this channel? If you haven't done it already, make sure to subscribe for more videos such as this one. See you in the next video. Bye.